the blade. So 1, 2. Deploying my blade strike.
If I hit it hard and I enter, I'm already with the knife cutting.
When you make a cut, Hi Tribe Brothers, and welcome to this video in which I want to make like a short resume of the most important elements that we were exercising until now in our online training classes. Even if you are in the Wielder of the Blades program involved or only online normal classes, this video it will clarify a lot of things, so I make it like a support to better understand what we must do. And the first one is the deployment. Of course that until then it's the awareness, but I want to talk in this video about these particular drills that we were exercising in such a way that I am showing you again step by step, insisting, underlining the most important elements of that particular drills so I can help you improve your deployments, improve your techniques and understanding better all the principles behind tactical combat system. So in my manual, The Way of the Blade, or in other videos, I was showing different kind of methods, and also in our online classes to some of you, I was showing different kind of concealed carry methods. And again, it's not existing the perfect concealed carry method. All they have weaks and strong points. But again, I insist that in my opinion, by my experience and the testing that I was doing until now under stress and pressure factors, the appendix position is remaining my favorite, and this was also the test of time in different kind of various scenarios or real situations. So basically we start from the appendix position, and I will try to insist again on the main elements that from the beginning we can learn perfect that technique without errors, so it's not happening some mistakes. And the biggest problem that can happen is to have a failed deployment. You don't want to be in an ambush situation and have a failed deployment, to not be able to deploy that blade in time, because that can cost your life. Already we understand that we are one step behind the aggressor because we have a reaction to an action, and if we are not able also to identify some particular signs that they are telling us that that can be a potential threat and can be an ambush, then of course if we have also a failed deployment, it will be all over. So appendix position, we start with the both hands. When I can use my both hands, of course the best choice, it will be the strong hand. In tactical combat system, we must train, again I repeat, with the both hands. But doesn't matter how much you train, our brain is split into hemispheres, right and left, and in your life you will be able to make some activities better with one limb than with the other, the same with the legs. So we train with a strong hand to be good, very good, but also we train with the left hand to be at least good. So strong hand, weak hand, or every time if I have, depending a lot where you have the blade, many they are putting exactly in the middle, many in the right side, many in the left side. So depending on the position, but the process is the same. When we talk about deployment with the both hands, all the time, if I have for example my blade in the middle, all the time my hand will go, if I'm doing with left hand the deployment, my hand will go near the knife, passing it, touching it, and go exactly in the lateral near, so I have the knife here and my catch it will be somewhere here. So I catch this shirt and then I'm contracting my hand, having a good grip. This is the first part that I must do at the beginning of making and learning a deployment. Why I must make that grip very good? If I have loose hand, it's possible that I lose the shirt under stress and pressure factors when somebody is coming to take my life, to stab me, and I must also protect the others around me. The effect and the changes that they are happening in your body in that moment will be a lot of changes, and that will influence your ability to deploy very good your weapon. And this is the reason why that first thing is the most important, catching that garment, catching that shirt, that cloth very good. And how I train that, I focus my mind at the beginning, making very easy to contract my fingers, to contract my muscles and put pressure, really take that shirt good. That is the first step. Second, all the time I am going stretching my shirt in diagonal on my body. Again, I repeat, why I'm stretching in diagonal on my body? If I am twisting to see better, and now I am coming with the shirt here up, the chances that I am under the effect of adrenaline, so many changes that are happening and influence my ability to deploy that blade, it can happen when I take the blade to stuck, to be like an obstacle, my t-shirt, and to block my hand in this t-shirt. So this is a very important thing. I am catching very good and stretching on my body. Why I'm catching near the knife in diagonal a little bit and I'm not straight catching here? Because it's logical. Look at the movement. I am not liberating the space there, and even if I liberate it, my hand is making a very, very big unnecessary movement that it must not be there. So I need to catch it from there, catch it very good, contract that fingers, that muscles, stretching on my body. Now the knife is liberating, and now I can come with the hand, catching my blade and already putting the finger on the handle, like a stopper. Why I'm not taking first and then I put the finger? Because you don't know what is happening. The target can be so close that when you make this movement, it can already enter or you can already have contact. And if you have this kind of knife with Tsuba, it's okay, it's not a danger. But if you have a knife, like for example, just a moment, the Obake from CRKT that doesn't have this Tsuba, because of the sweat, because of the blood, because of the meteorological factors, raining, snow, mud, I don't know, it can slide on the blade or fall down, you drop your blade. So this is the reason why at the beginning we have the perfect grip. The same of the fire weapon. If I must deploy from appendix position my fire weapon, from the first moment I must make that grip very good. So again, catching very good the garment, the cloth, in the diagonal, going stretching on my body, liberating the space of the blade, coming, gripping, already putting the finger, taking my blade out. When I catch and already I am exiting from the holster, I am twisting already the blade facing my target or in front. And here it's also the answer to many of you. I already say this. To the ones that they don't know, I will explain now. Why I'm twisting the blade? Very simple. One is to reduce the risk of blocking my hand in the shirt. Because why it's blocking? Why people are continuing this movement and they can make many times until they understand that they can take the hand there? Because they are continuing with taking their hand up and they have the shirt that is blocking. But by taking from my holster and already, okay, it's a mistake because normally it must not happen this if you stretch. But if because of the factors that they are influencing your deployment, it will happen this. By twisting now, if I'm catching here, by twisting now the blades facing, already it will exit from this blockage. So it's simple, look. So this is one of the main reasons why we are performing twisting our blade. The second is that if the target is arriving so close of us, it's a close, very close distance, I am already with the blade facing my target so I can enter with the body, creating some damage. I can also, if he wants to make retention on the weapons, it's more hard because I have the blade facing. Then if I have the blade down, here is more easy to make a retention on my weapon, here is more hard to make a retention. And then of course, the last thing, because I'm coming with my blade in the right position and I must only deliver my strike. So again, recapitulation until now. Catching the hand, I have the blade here, passing the blade a little bit in diagonal, stretching on my body and liberating the space, making the right grip, put the thumb finger, taking from the holster, give it with the twisted forward, the target coming in the power box at the center. Imagine a circle and you are here. I can strike various directions with the blade from here. Yeah. So this is the main steps. These are the main steps when we are talking about deploying with both hands. Okay guys, we pass now to the other hand. If I must deploy with the weak hand but still use the both hands, is the same process. But why to deploy it with the weak hand when I have the strong hand? It's very simple, and I will give you a scenario to understand better. If, for example, I'm standing here on this wall and my target, my aggressor, is coming from my left side, if I deploy my blade, also create space, want to disengage from the X, from the danger zone, and I want also to strike, I must twist my body towards the target, striking and creating distance. It can be done, of course, yes. It's taking a more longer time, of course. So even if you are fast to deploy your blade, with your strong hand, this twisting of the body will make this deployment more long. But in the same time, I can do this with a weak hand. So I can disengage, creating that space already, but also striking towards my target. And in this time, disengage. So this is one of the reasons why I can make this. Another way is that if my target is coming from behind, and I'm twisting my head and seeing in this situation that the target is coming, I mean in an ambush, I'm not seeing on this, and then I deploy it on the other part and I twist again 180 degrees to hit the target. No, I'm identifying here and I will deploy and take my blade with a weak hand in the time that I'm moving. So these are some moments in which we can deliver our strikes with and deployments and strikes with the weak hand. The same if you stay on the chair, imagine that I'm staying on the chair and the target is coming immediately from this direction, I cannot hit from the chair with the right hand, I need that left hand. And the process is the same. I am going with a strong hand, but now I'm not going here near the strong hand, I am passing the knife, going to the opposite leg, stretching the shirt on my body, coming, gripping very good, taking the blade, twisting and be ready to use. So it's the same process of deployment. Okay, we pass now to more serious things. Injured to a hand. Being injured to a hand means that we must learn to deploy our blade with the other hand. And this is a very important subject, guys. Exit from your comfort zone and train a lot with one hand. You must be prepared for that situation. It's easy to deploy my blade with two hands, but it's more difficult to make that only with one hand. And we must train and train that a lot. So, the principle is the next. I was seeing many of you in your practices and many are making the same little mistakes that can be correct, and this video is for this. So to remember all the time, doesn't matter where you have the blade, all the time, if it's here, well, it doesn't matter the hand that it's injured, if I have the blade somewhere at the middle, then all the time I will go with the hand on the opposite leg, to remember like this. So I'm not taking from here, I'm going to the opposite leg direction, and from there I take my Garmin. Not from here, if I need to deploy it with the right hand, not from the right part, but from going to the opposite leg. And I am catching the same very good, my shirt, stretching a lot on my body. And now, the most important thing, there are two methods at one hand deployment. And the first is stretching on my body and then maintaining contact between the hand and the body and going down, taking my knife and taking out. This is one. or second, going in the same position, catching that garment, give it, stretch it, but now I pass the t-shirt between my body and the handle of the knife. So I'm passing it here, then I take the blade. It's more slower, this movement? Yes, of course, but it's secure. The main problem is when you want to make it fast and you are not able to deploy the blade. You are having a failed deployment. That must not happen. So I prefer a little bit to be more slower and to be sure that I take that blade with the first one or with the second when I'm passing and then taking the blade, than to make it more faster but to not be able to take from the first movement that blade. So again, we identify the movement. This is injured, I am using this hand, going in the opposite direction, stretching one, contact with the body, going on the knife, taking it out. Number two with the same hand, catching the t-shirt, stretching but passing between the handle of the knife and my body, taking the knife out, twisting towards the direction. I'm staying in the same place, of course, only to show you. All these are making with movement and we discuss after. Changing to the other hand, we make the same. If my blade is somewhere in the middle, I'm going to the opposite part, stretch my t-shirt, contact with the body, going on the blade. Very important, that contact with the body. If I'm stretching only and now I'm going to, look what happened. Already the shirt, because it's stretched and because maybe it's more heavy material, it will already cover my blade or it will be an obstacle there. So by stretching is not enough when on one hand, I also make contact, keeping that contact with the body and taking the blade out. Passing the same, stretching, passing between the handle and my body, taking the blade out. So these are the methods, the two methods to make this technique with the both hands. What I'm doing, if many are making in the appendix position, but they are putting in more lateral. So if I'm doing here how I'm taking, if I have here the knife, not on the middle, it's the same process. If I need to take my blade, if I take it from here, again, my hand, too much space, and still it's possible to be covered. All the time I am going, even if I have my knife here, I am going more far than the knife. So I'm stretching and liberating that for sure so I can take it. If I'm talking about two hands. Yeah. The same here. I'm not taking from here because look at the hand, passive space, too much distance. I am going in the same direction because my main goal is to liberate, to stretch that shirt, stretching it, and then I can take my blade. When I make with one hand, it's the same. One contact, take it out. So all the time, if you remember that you must pass your blade and take from the opposite direction, this will help you to not have problems with the deployment. This was the part of the deployment. Now we pass to put to this deployment the next elements. And one is striking fast, striking precise. The majority of you have this explosion, but I need more. You must understand that you are in an ambush, one step behind, already not having the blade outside, but you must deploy outside the blade, striking, and also with creating movement. And this we discuss now, creating movement. If you remember, the majority of you, when we start our first classes, some period of time ago, I was taking you step by step, because if I'm coming from the beginning with the idea of disengaging, in the same time deploying, striking, it will not work. You must learn it easy, step by step. And the process, it was very simple. It was deployment, striking, movement. This movement at the beginning, if you remember, it was only one step. In reality, the movement cannot be one step. If I move one step back, one step in lateral, in diagonal, that is not movement. He can still, the aggressor, reach you with a blade, and we discussed about the three distances with the blade. So I need movement, is meaning that I create, if I have the luxury of space, to create 2, 3, 4 meters. I am going disengaging from there after I'm making this. But at the beginning, I was making this with you only to train and to program our brain to understand that there is also a movement. After we learned this, we were making this, put one step back. Of course, at the beginning it was only 1, then 2, and then it was with 1 and moving one step. And as you see now, we are passing to more complex things. In the idea that we learn to disengage, deploy, strike in the same time, and not only striking one time, but striking multiple targets, different kind of levels. Because again, I repeat, if you have multiple aggressors and you are very fast to deploy your blade and to strike, I'm here very fast, I'm striking my target, is good, but you have others that they are coming in the same moment. So disengaging and try to learn to change the levels. This is the principle that I want to share with you. It's not existing the fixed technique from the page 72. It's existing passing you principles to understand that you must disengage from there and strike and learn to strike different kind of targets, different kind of levels. And this is applying to the first moment of that ambush. I'm not talking what is happening after. First, before to talk what is happening after this, we must be able to survive that initial ambush moment. And if you are not able to make this, disengage, create space, strike, deploy, strike, sorry, you cannot pass to the other things. It's simple. I'm going and learning 10,000 drills of how to cut, how to stab in different kind of angles, but this will not help me, because until I have the knife out to make all this and learning all these drills, it's another important factor. Having awareness, being able to deploy under stress and pressure factors your blade, operate, creating that space and strike, and then we discuss about something else. So we see that now our technique is disengaging. If I'm seeing, okay, I have a fixed target. In reality, I'm not talking about this guy is here near me standing and suddenly it's attacking me. No, I'm talking about an ambush. It's the individual is coming and it's rushing, taking his blade and is rushing towards you. So it's the element of surprise because he's engaging you. It's a psychological thing. When the criminal is engaging you, it's seeing you like a victim. But suddenly you transform yourself and you put in the fight a weapon. It's an element of surprise. So psychological, he will be disrupted in that moment. So not that he's stopping, it can also be, of course, there existing also this situation, and I was part of this situation in which I was deploying much faster after seeing the indicators and he was taking the blade. It was in the moment that it's exiting, I was taking my blade more faster outside, and the fight was, the situation was ending there only with menaces and a verbal thing, because the other guy was not having the balls and he was not having neither the idea and neither the motivation to fight with another guy that is unarmed. But because he was seeing at the beginning that I am not unarmed, it was pushing him to start an aggression. But that it was transforming in something else. But not all the time it's happening like this. So basically I have the element of surprise is engaging me, and already to have chances of surviving, I must create that space. I'm standing here, somebody is coming aggressive, beginning to stab, changing the angles, and I will strike or make multiple strikes. Again, I say to you, it's lottery. 50-50, who is giving the deadly strike? I don't want this. I want to disengage from there. I want to be able to increase the distance and this time already to strike or apply my technique. Now, can be this movement done also in other directions? Of course, and we begin already to study these kind of things. So I'm going now back, but if I have a wall, I will choose the direction where I have the space to evade or to create, to apply other kind of tactics. All the time you must create this distance, of course, depending on the situation. If I am with my family, with my son, with others near me here that I must protect, I'm not stabbing and going 6 meters away and letting them hear. It's logical. I'm only sharing you some principle to make the understanding about when to create space, where to create space, and when to enter. because when you talk about confined spaces, we close the distance, yeah? So we were learning that now we don't stay anymore here to make this. We must disengage, move back, deploy our blade, and in the same time strike. Explosion, fast, boom, striking. So this is the main principle now. If tomorrow, I was saying to many of you, you are coming with I don't know what technique, striking here one time, striking other target there, and in the same time movement back, or I don't know what kind of combination. And it's respecting these principles. Moving, deploying and striking in the same time, perfect. I will say very good, that is the way. Because we don't study a fixed technique. When you study a fixed technique, it will never work in reality the same, because in reality, many elements are influencing and things will change. So what you must learn are principles, yeah, and you will be able to apply it to other kind of situations. So based on the same principle, if I have a wall now in the back, of course that I cannot deploy, create space and go back because I have a wall. But now I have the space in the diagonal. So based on this principle of moving and deploying and striking, I will make the same thing. I will strike and move in the direction that I need to escape. If I need to escape, if I need to close the distance, I can strike, remaining here, going to the kidneys, or making other kind of strikes. But based on the same principle, I'm in a normal position, deploy, evade, strike that trachea, shock zone, reaction of the body, going with the hands, permitting me to evade. Many questions from your part. Matei, but if you are not striking that shock zone, if you are not striking that shock zone because you have a target that has unpredictable movement, it's not like here. This is the reason why I say all these techniques are attribute developments. You must go after and put it under stress and pressure factors in scenarios with partners that are opposing resistance and so on. Yeah, I'm already showing you the principles. So if you don't strike that shock shock zone, imagine it's enough that you are facing, you are entering with a blade in the face, hitting in the face, and you make the evasion, the escape. I don't know if somebody can receive a blade in his face and to not be a shock in that moment. Of course, it's stopping him there. No, because of the hormones, because of the adrenaline, because of other things that they are hormones that they are releasing his body, he will manage to continue, if he has the motivation, to continue his attack. Yeah, but the first initial strike, it will be a shock. If you take now a blade, I put a blade that is coming towards your mouth, breaking your teeth, or towards your facial bones, man, you cannot in that moment continue. It's a strike, it's a shock strike. So for that I'm looking for that, boom, entering, going, because I have from the beginning the idea of creating space, of disengaging. I don't have the idea of standing here and fight with the blade. So all the time I try to use this knife, the tool, to create the space and the distance so I can evade. So this is the reason why we can make it also in that direction. Normal condition, not standing here, not making this 1, 2, 3, too late. He's doing also his strike. I have an interception, boom, already having explosion, going in the direction that I want. Of course, keeping the eye on the target in case that he was not receiving the right strike and it's twisting. But then standing here and be very fast with my blade, striking I don't know how many times. Standing in the same position, he's doing the same thing. It's more dangerous, and it's who is giving the right blow, then striking, going with a shock strike towards the face, and now creating already that distance between me and him, because here I was having a wall. So understand these concepts. The same concept can be applied when we have, for example, from lateral an attack. Not all the time it will be from your front. So what I insist all the time is this first moment of the ambush in which you need to disengage from the X zone. You are already, again I repeat, with one step behind. Imagine an active shooter scenario where somebody is entering, you hear gunshots, you have the active shooter. You don't go towards, okay, if you have the tools, if you have the training, you must go there because it's the only way in which a bad guy can be stopped by a good guy skilled in violence. So, but in general, if you are a civilian or the civilians, you disengage, you go away. If you don't have the tools, the training, you go away from the danger zone. That it will increase your chances of surviving. Here is the same. I am already taken by surprise, so if I need to deploy my blade and stay here, even if I'm fast, even if I strike, he can do the same thing. So this is the reason why I choose to disengage. I am taking my blade, choosing to already start my movement, striking and creating that distance. I'm not making this one and then moving. No, I'm disengaging. I'm already going deploy and strike to my target. This can be also in other kind of position. The same if my target is coming from behind. Yeah, it's not here near me. It's a fixed target, again I repeat, but like a scenario only to make an idea. If I identify the potential threat that is coming from a short distance towards me, I'm not remaining there, taking my blade, twisting, and want to operate with my blade, because I will be stabbed. So I want to disengage, already to create distance, and in this time, boom, shooting like a spear, thrusting towards him. So identification, and now look at my body, already I let my weight on the front leg, letting my body height down in such a way that I'm more down to the level of striking, and in the moment in which I'm moving, I'm also striking, and look what is my position, going. So from here, identification, boom, striking and go. That explosion is very, very important. It's the same how I say the shooting. If somebody from behind, from 10 meters, I don't know, a different kind of distance, is aiming at me to shoot, I'm identifying this, and now I'm twisting on the place, taking my fire weapon from the appendix position, putting my sights, aligning and shoot. If it's a good shooter, I'm dead already. So I must disengage from there, create movement in lateral when you talk about fire weapons, because if you go on the same line, it's not a big difference from the aiming, but when I'm going a lot, creating distance in the lateral, then I force my opponent, the enemy, to align his sights and to move, to take this kind of movement that it will make it more harder to hit me. So I'm disengaging from there, creating distance, moving, deploying in that time my weapon, and in the time that I'm moving, I am also operating my weapon. Here is the same. Standing in this position, doesn't matter how fast you are. The anatomy of the body and the way in which your opponent with unpredictable movements is moving, it's very different, and it's possible that you are not so precise to hit that shock zones. So standing and making all these movements, he has the same chances. But all this, what I was talking until now, it's related to the situation in which you have the luxury of space. You can create that space, but you can be also in a confined space, elevator, or I don't know, a very, very, very small corridor, or different kind of rooms where you don't have the possibility to move or disengage from the danger zone. So in that moment, I need to close the distance between me and my target. And if in this technique I was striking and passing, going to evade, I was having the intention because I was having the space, boom, and now I was moving, striking and going on the evasion, boom. Now I cannot do this anymore. So what I can do is going, I have more variants, but of course this we were practicing already, and we will come with more exercises. It's only to understand the principle. I have the idea of striking that trachea, giving that shock zone, the strike. The hands are going towards and are permitting me when I arrive in this position to access his left side, to penetrate between 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6 ribs, intercostal spaces, and to access that heart. Of course, I choose the best position is between 3 and 4, but you cannot be in a real situation so precise, especially when my target is still moving. That strike to the trachea is not happening like this and the target is not moving anymore. It's having spasm, it's having muscular spasm, and he will move from that position. So it's not standing here like my Bob Mannequin strike, and that is the point. But understanding the zone is very important. Understanding that the ribs are coming in diagonal. So if I'm pushing with my blade in this way, I will not be able so good to enter there. Okay, the ribs are elastic. If I have a good length, I still can enter. But I must put it on the horizontal shape, coming on a diagonal strike type, yeah, to enter there. So again, I have this, I deliver my strike to the trachea, and here I'm in the space, protecting now because I want to come in his lateral. I was delivering this strike, but still protecting with the other hand my left side and branchial artery, and especially axillary artery. Again, I repeat, branchial artery more easy to control that bleeding. I take the tourniquet, I can apply it there. Axillary artery, junctional zone, very hard. You cannot apply a tourniquet, you must make a wound packing or pressure, direct pressure. So more hard to treat that, yeah, after you have this kind of injury. So I am again delivering my strike and then arriving in this position, lateral position, where I'm controlling, trying to protect a little bit my hand, and here I can access the heart. Boom! But now I don't have anymore the situation to evade. So what I'm doing, I'm taking connection, I control the body. Look at my height. From here, I'm going here, because I need a very good stanza for my feet. Because when he's beginning to have spasm, or especially when you are fighting, this clinch is transforming in a very, very, how to say, hard situation. And it's very hard to keep somebody in this position by having this kind of posture. This is the reason why people that they are doing ground fighting, or I don't know, they are very good at grappling, they are letting their body and their weight down. Yeah, they are more stable on the ground. So again, one thing I am trusting the trachea, coming in the lateral, protecting, entering to that heart, penetrating, and now what I'm doing, having control with my target, but not remaining here. Of course, after I'm giving these strikes, my target will be incapacitated. But in reality, I will not make so many combinations. I'm making only here to show you from different kind of angles how you can strike different kind of shock zones. And why I'm not remaining here? If I'm remaining here, I'm in a position in which still he can hit me. If this mannequin is now in my role and I am the aggressor and I am in that position, I still from here can, if I don't have the shock strikes, I can still stab. Again, I repeat, if you are not delivering the shock strikes. But by making this one, and now coming in the lateral, if I give also the heart, I am one coming here, two entering in the heart, and now creating control with my target. I have space, and what I'm doing is sliding behind him, pushing again with my body, letting my body down. If I have a wall, like here, imagine a wall, I am using that wall to pin him. So I have here one, I'm doing trachea, heart, and now I'm pushing my body but also moving and pinning towards the wall. So what I'm doing here, one, I pin in a position that is more complicated for him to twist and to hit, especially after this strike zone, and then I have the access of the kidneys. From here, boom, I can strike to the kidneys. 2 millions, 3 millions nerves, imagine that strike going to the kidneys, incapacitated. So more easy the technique is deployment. Of course, when we talk about confined spaces, let's think now of an elevator. But an elevator, and he's a little bit more bigger an elevator, is not with the back to the wall, so I have the possibility to make all these movements. It's simple in the scenarios. It's simple to try to make this here. In reality, it's something else. Yeah, this is the reason why these are only principles that I'm sharing with you. If you are not putting under test pressure and stress factors and you train a lot, it will not help you. Yeah, I'm only sharing these principles so you can integrate it in your training. So, if I'm in an elevator, for example, and he's already with a blade in his hoodie, for example, or jacket, but with a hand on it prepared, and I was not able to identify in time this kind of potential threat, to prepare myself, because for this I have videos for you in which I'm showing dirty concealed carries, how you can put a hoodie, how you can make a hole in the pocket in such a way that the handle of the knife is going in your pocket and you can put the hand there and take the blade immediately, or other kind of techniques like this that will help you shorten the time in which you put that blade in the fight, because that is the most important. If I am there in this situation, already he's with a knife, with a hand on the knife, I am here with my blade here, and I have the wall here and no space where to go, and I'm starting suddenly an ambush. It's very hard, man, if he knows what to do, to deploy that blade from this position and also to stay alive. Of course, it's depending on your training, on your practice, on your luck, on many things. But we don't talk about this. We try to reduce that time. So let's say what kind of scenario can go this? Can go in the idea that the only moment in which I can have the blade here, if I am in that situation, if I go in a criminal type of, I don't know, in a neighborhood where a lot of criminal activities are happening, and I'm not taking my measures to prepare my blade, to be ready with my blade in a good position, in my hoodie, my jacket, or other kind of stuff, I'm already missing the part with awareness and preparing myself. In here, let's say that I was not preparing, and the only thing that you can do and you can have access and you can make this, it's in the situation in which you see that he's going with a hand in the pocket, or he's taking the knife, is this movement when he's taking out from the pocket. That is the only way that I can reach faster if I'm training to make this explosion technique, because he has a movement of taking it up. And of course here it's looking very easy. In reality, of course, I repeat, it's not like this. But that is the only movement in which I can make this very fast. I'm identifying, I'm having the signs that this can be a potential threat for me, and now identifying that is going there fast. Boom! I'm giving that strike, going near, trying to pin. I have the other wall, letting my body weight pin it to the wall, access the kidney, and try to maintain there and to stab continuously until I finish the job. Now I have this discussion with some of you. And guys, it's very important to understand the legislations in your country. I'm promoting the idea of a protector, I repeat. You must have the right knowledge, the right combat mindset, and the right tools. But if you are now in an elevator, you are not having CCTV cameras, nothing, I don't know, you are in that elevator. And let's say it was the earlier situation in which somebody is taking the blade, he has a blade, but you also have a blade. And you take it, you stab him, you go around, you continue to stab continuously until, I don't know, the doors of the elevators are opened. Then when you will be in front of the court. Of course, I'm believing also in this. It's better in front of one judge than in front to stay laid down in front of a priest. But we must think also that if you are a protector means that must be free to be able to protect his family. If you go to prison, you cannot protect it from there. So have also in the mind that to be a protector, it's also including the ability to think clearly and to take the right decisions. So if you go in front of the judge and you say, I was attacked, somebody was taking the blade to attack me and I was having also my blade, and the guy, you don't have not so much injury, some minor cuts, and the guy has 20 stabs. Sorry man, this is happening, it's normal. Yeah. So now it's very important to understand why we aim from that shock strikes. Why I'm going for that shock strikes, and when I'm going to the heart. I'm going to the heart, that is a deadly strike, in the moment in which I am with me, it's for example my family. I have my daughter, my son, my family, or other civilians, and it's a situation that somebody is entering, like it was in Paris. This was entering in the church, begin to stab people and kill. Then of course you must eliminate that target, because otherwise you lose your life or the ones around you. And that is not counting anymore. You eliminate the target that is representing a danger and is killing the people around you. But in this particular situation, you being there and make this, it will lead you to prison. This is the reason why you must understand that having, for example, a screwdriver, putting in a Kydex sheet that you can custom for it, and having that screwdriver, it's something different than having a combat blade. Yeah, if you can make a tiny concealed carry sheet, it's much better. It can be more tiny. It can be more to not drag the attention that you create that especially for this. And I have one tip. One of my students was making in the top of the screwdriver, was putting this from the wine. This I don't know from what the material. My English is not so good. This kept from the wine that is coming inside, and it's from this material that you can insert it inside, and he was putting at the level of the pants with the belt. In the moment that you take it out, that is remaining in the pants and the screwdriver is exiting, but you don't have nothing to show that you confectionate, that you create a sheet special designed to carry a screwdriver. Yeah, and the main idea is that if in the system that I'm teaching, these techniques, we don't cut, we are striking, we are penetrating, stabbing, it's applying also, I will say many times, to the screwdriver. So if I am in the situation that I must do the same thing, I can deploy, make my strike to the trachea, to the eye, to the shock zones, but I was having a screwdriver in my hand. But the effect, it will be the same. That screwdriver will enter in the eye, perforating the eye, entering in the orbit of the eye, passing, if it's having a good length and you give it power, to the cavernous sinus, also maybe penetrating to the skull. This is not meaning that it's dying. Again, I repeat, many situations in which people are having work accidents, metal bars to their head, conscience, going to hospital, still alive. The only part, brainstem severed, and that is shutting down everything. I'm not killing him, but I create shock. Trachea, I'm not killing him in that moment. It can lead to death because you have respiration distress, not a lot of oxygen after you penetrate and you create a hole in the trachea, but that is taking time. If you are in an urban environment, the paramedics will be there in the time, it will still be alive, it will save his life, yeah? But these are creating shock, and you can say, man, I was in the situation, and what is the reaction of the body when you want to protect? Push or protect with the hands. This you can say also, I was wanted to protect, I was having this in my pocket, taken, and I was pushing and create these things. But when you have a blade and you strike it 20 times, again, I repeat, the situation is not so good for you, because nobody will believe you. So all the time understand that is not enough to have the knowledge. You must also have the right tools for that particular moment, and you must know when to make use of deadly force and when to not make use of deadly force. So again, I repeat, I am seeing that he's deploying his blade outside in that moment, and that is the moment in which I'm entering, striking that trachea, delivering already. If it's I have others with me, I must protect, it's the situation for use of deadly force. Of course, I'm penetrating that heart, if not twisting, pinning the body towards the wall, and here accessing at the level of the kidneys. It's leading that to death. If you stab the kidney, immediately no. And in particular that if you stab the kidney, no. But there are some important blood vessels there that if you lacerate can lead, of course, in a limited amount of time, depends on how good is lacerated that blood vessel. If it's an artery, in the artery the blood is circulated with high pressure, so this means that more faster it will lose the blood that is leading to his death, 3-4 minutes approximately, or 1 minute, depends again, I repeat, of many factors, to lose his conscience. So I'm choosing these particular areas, striking and maintaining there. In the other one, what is happening? If I have the luxury of space, I am boom, giving that strike and then I am disengaging. If I have in that moment CCTV cameras, I don't know, witnesses, and I have a screwdriver and I make this technique with a screwdriver and I'm making this technique, what I'm doing now? I was not staying there to continue my movements to deliver and kill this individual. I was delivering a shock strike to the eye, to the trachea, and create space, disengage, go from there. The same, when I'm here and I'm making this technique and I'm going back, I am disengaging from there. These people are seeing. And this is not what people are seeing, but it's also good for you, creating that distance. So we must understand what are the situations in which I must use that deadly force, step that hard, creating strikes that will eliminate the target, and what are the situations in which I must incapacitate the target. Okay tribe, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content and I was able to clarify some of the misunderstanding regarding the deployments, and also to clarify better the principles that we follow in tactical combat system. And the main goal is to be able to move, disengage from the X, from the danger zone, and in the same time deploy, strike not only one target, multiple targets, different kind of levels. So that is our main goal. Stay safe and of course train hard. Until next time.